everyone. I'm here talking today with Graham Barra, the CEO of Bitcart. How's it going, Graham?
Diego Corda, can I talk to? Hello, Joel. How are you?
I'm doing just great. Although, as much as I do like the artwork I have in the back of my shot, I'm kind of jealous of what you got going on there. What is that I see?
Yeah, you should be. This is a custom commission piece that I got from an artist who accepts Dash, here based in the European Union, based in Croatia. His name is Zoran. So Zoran is someone that accepts Dash. You can actually go onto his Blogspot website, his blog online. You can purchase using Dash, and you can get custom pieces as well if there's nothing on his display that you like. I decided to get the Upper Incubator logo. It was kind of like, I'm in the incubator right now. This is where we work from, and we develop a lot of our technologies from here. We have a lot of people come in for events, such as the last rooftop proof of concept we had for Festi when we were live at Dash Force News. We must have had about 50 or 60 people here. It's a nice talking piece, somewhere you can spend your Dash, so it automatically alleviates that concern that people might have at the back of their mind. Oh, people are accepting Dash. There is an economy there. You support P2P. There's no banks involved. I just thought it was a great thing once I moved into this incubator to commission this, and I'm really happy with it, man. Yeah, really happy.
Yeah, it seems like it's a pretty fancy looking piece, and the fact that you can get it custom made and custom done with Dash, I'm pretty sure it's going to be like it could pretty easily take over the Dash world. All the big players in the Dash world just have something that looks conspicuously familiar in their background, but all custom made to their thing. So yeah, very nice little tip to the rest of the world. So anyway, I heard you guys were working on a new release for Bitcart. It seems like the site's up now. What does the new release include at this point?
So the new release is it's a long time in the making, Bitcart version 4.0. This was agreed way back in May at Consensus. We actually sat down with Daniel Diaz from Dash, the business developer. We sat down with our team of developers, and we basically presented a roadmap, a development roadmap with Dash that we could accomplish within the next few months. This is phase 2 now, which we're entering. So we're on schedule, which is really good to say. Bitcart 4.0 is going to just basically fix a lot of problems that some people had drawing up to the current position where we have ourselves in. So some of these problems, like, people are already aware of. They include like some customer journey issues, some delays, some customer service issues, some bugs as well, like on the tier system in the login member area. That's to describe some of the problems on the customer journey end of things. On the back end, for ourselves, there's also issues, right? We're always going to have these problems. We've had these teething problems for a while, and it's really great now to be able to connect a new back end, a new front end, connect them together to make it better for the customer, make it a better experience, make it an easier experience, more seamless to buy and spend their Dash. And then for ourselves, just to begin working on a more automated system. This will allow for more templated orders to go through via email, as well as in the login member area. People will be able to see their history of gift cards as well. And it's very important that all of this, is encrypted. We've put a lot of emphasis on security. This is because, as people have probably been aware, because we've made several announcements over the last few months, especially since our partnership with Dash. But that's not only the only time, but especially around that time when we dropped Bitcoin, we did receive a lot of DDoS attacks. That's not to make an excuse. Everyone can be victim to a DDoS attack. It was just unfortunate that these do come. They interfere with how our website and backend communicates with the Dash blockchain. So sometimes we don't get confirmations that orders have been paid. People get angry, or they just ask us questions. We've got to go manually find them. And then that's a big cause of delays. It's not the only cause though. So I'm not trying to make an excuse or anything. What we're going to be doing in the future, we found a very clever way to prevent these DDoS attacks from happening again, or preventing at least. You can't prevent someone from DDoSing you. Anyone has that freedom to do it online. Unfortunately, that's like, we got to take that with internet freedom. But we can find ways to alleviate that. We have a very good security team based in Switzerland. These are the top encryption. These are very, very good security developers, and they're working on making sure 4.0 is very secure. So as I say, our beta is online at the moment where people can go. It's not to say there won't be any problems down the line, but just report it to us and we'll update in 4.1, 4.2, etc.
Very nice. Wow. So a lot of people don't understand what a DDoS attack includes, or they just say they understand superficially, but it should be like a problem that's fixed at some point. And do these kinds of attacks ever hit large retailers, for example, Amazon.com? Did they ever get DDoSed and taken down offline because of that? And if so, how do they tend to deal with those problems? And is that something that you guys are going to be?
Well, I would assume that everyone is victim or open to the possibility to be a victim of a denial of service attack with a DDoS. These attacks can be quite devastating for a website. I would say it would probably more largely affect like smaller websites if they don't have the security in place. Larger websites can get away with it, but that's not to say, I mean, everything has been hacked. Like Snapchat has been hacked. There's a lot of websites that have been DDoSed over the last few years. Facebook was even DDoSed. I remember a few years ago that was down for like a couple of minutes and everybody freaked out. These things can happen. There's a lot of different ways to take an approach where how you can defend against one. Obviously, Cloudflare is like an obvious thing. Just go sign up to the service. They'll protect you in a limited degree. They have different packages, obviously. Like the cheapest package I think is free, and then the most expensive packages, it's like 25 grand a month or something. Like it's crazy. If you have if I had that, sure, no problem. If I'm Amazon.com, I'll just buy that. That's easy. But because we don't have access to those kind of funds for our security, we've got to think a little bit more innovatively with the budget we're given. I can't tell you specifically how we've resolved it, but we have found a way to resolve it, and it's a very clever way. So whoever is doing it, let them continue doing it. It's not going to affect us anymore. So, yeah.
Yeah. So it seems like there's nothing to complain about what BigCart does, right? Allowing anyone to shop on Amazon.com, that opens up a massive market of goods for a lot of people, and a consistent 15% off. That seems like the Dash user's dream. In fact, I'm one of those few people that makes 100% Dash income and I don't have a bank account. So for me, something like BigCart is really huge. Now, people who are a little bit less familiar with how the service works and a little bit less used to all that, sometimes they say, "Oh, I got ordered BigCart gift card. It didn't come for another day or two, and then when it came, one of them wasn't working, and I tried to email them back, and it didn't work, and so I have to sort of play tech support to get them through it." And so what I've told people in recent times when there's been some issues is, when you order one, just expect, give yourself a week to get everything sorted out at the worst, right? It could be you get something right away, or you could not. And obviously there have been some fluctuations because of the factors outside of your control. Do you think that like worst case, you got to just give yourself a week? Do you think, how shortened is that now? That estimate that maybe was not fair that I gave, but it was what I gave. But what do you think? How shortened was the worst case estimate now?
That's fair, to be honest, to give people that advice, right? Because as I say, there have been some trades that have fallen through the cracks, whether it's been an issue with the manual process that have kicked in as a result of a DDoS attack, or whether it's just an issue that we have on our side. Maybe the demand is a bit too high at some times, or maybe there's been some other customer service issues. So a week, yeah, fair enough. If you're talking like May, June, July, fair enough. There has been some transactions that have taken up to a week. At the moment, I would say 2 days. I would say 2 days max. Like
that's the worst case scenario.
Something hasn't come in 2 days. Email me because there's something wrong somewhere, right? There's something wrong somewhere. A day is what we give ourselves. We say 24 hours. When we go into 4.0, we expect to really abide by that 24 hours. So we don't want to have to say, I mean, at the worst case, if we have to update 48 hours on our website, we will give that warning out just to let people know what to expect. But I really, really am confident that we can, after this, so we have our beta. After the beta, we go public. I think then we are talking about 24-hour. With the type of automation tools that we have in place as well, people won't be getting typos or invalid gift cards, which again can happen one every 50 or so. You know, statistically, someone can make a typo every now and then. That won't happen again in the automated system, because the automated system will actually be able to validate these gift cards automatically. So there's no manual process there either in the future. Once we have that, all gift cards will be 100% checked, validated by a bot. Like you can trust a bot. Like, you know, you don't even have to trust me or any of my sales agents. Once that happens, I see the website going 24 hours and less, and less, and less, and less. And that's what I'm excited about. That's what I'm building towards. I'm not going to lie, we're not there yet. But that's not to say that we don't have a roadmap in place, which has been transparent since June when we crafted it with Dash. We are on track with that roadmap. And so please just come to that. If you ever want to know what's coming down the pipeline, have a look, comment, suggest stuff. If there's any bug reports, report them to us. We're on your side. We're here to serve you. So that's really what I have to say to that. I am excited, like really excited. I you know, less complaints, the better, obviously. So I'm really, really excited to be going into this. It'll take a lot of relief off my shoulders as well. So I'm very happy with that.
So what do you think? Let's give this customer experience hypothetical, right? You decide to go to Amazon.com. You decide you're going to buy something. Fill up your cart. You get to the checkout page, and then you open a new tab and go to BitCart. Buy that stuff with Dash right there, and then pretty much just put those gift codes right into the shopping cart. Maybe a 5 to 10 minute delay if you need to go to the bathroom or something in between, but you can have that order window open in Amazon, and then at that point decide to buy gift cards. Is that something that's going to come down the line? Is that something that's planned?
Interesting about that, just an idea that I just thought of there. Even with the 24-hour turnaround, we are still faster than every single card issuer in the world. Because on Amazon.com, your order doesn't become confirmed until 2 or 3 days. At least that was back in the day when I used to use Amazon a lot. I don't use it a lot anymore, to be honest. I don't live in the US, so I don't need to. I can't. I wish I could. But check that out. I'd be curious to race, to have, even with the 24-hour, you pay with Dash, you have your order window open, you sit on it for 24 hours, you wait, versus someone who has a credit card, any credit card, pick whatever one you want. It can be a credit or a debit card. So you can have the funds already on it, pay, wait the 2 days for the order to be confirmed, and wait another day for the order to be shipped, compared to 24 hours the gift card is issued through BitCart. The beauty about paying with gift cards, it's confirmed instantly. It's an internal confirmation. Amazon grab it from themselves. They don't grab it from Visa and wait. They grab it from themselves. So you can actually, even with the 24-hour, we still beat Visa. So okay, people complain, we could just tell you 48 hours or 72 hours and we will still beat Visa. So it's like, you have to think in terms of like, yeah, you definitely have to think relative. Like we never said we were going to be faster than Amazon. It just turned out that we are. So let's just be honest about that as well. Yeah, and otherwise, like, I think you're right about people who can or who wish to stay within the Dash ecosystem. This is a really good service. Like some of our earlier users were included people like Roger Ver. And like just you mentioned yourself as well as someone who 100% lives their life through Dash, gets paid through Dash. So I just compare you guys together there as people that are very much in this. It's perfect. There's a reason why it fits that type of personality. So far, I've been kind of marketing towards that personality. In other words, I've been assuming people like yourself and Roger and myself who've been using Dash and Bitcoin before we had the exclusivity, you know, on BitCart, we could live our lives just on this cryptocurrency. Those people over the last 3 years that we've been doing this, they've just come, right? Now we're in this place where we're doing upwards of 100K a month. We're very comfortable at this position. We could just aim at just leveling out and perfecting this little box, and that will be fine. We are looking for perfection. But now we're looking to advertise beyond the people that live by Dash every day, the people that don't know anything about Dash. So it's all well and good for you and for me and for Roger Ver to be living in cryptocurrency, but that's gonna stagnate at some point, isn't it? So really, it's now looking at, and this is what our proposal is, right? It's our marketing and advertising proposal. We're going big with this. We're going big. We want everyone who shops on Amazon to know that there's a discount available if they shop using Dash. They may not have ever heard of Dash, but if you're loyal to Starbucks or Amazon or wherever it is, and you see a sign right outside the door, you're going there every day. You're going there every day, right outside the door, and you see 50% off. you're at least going to stop and you're going to find out how. You're at least going to 1 or 2 seconds, and your brain is going to at least look at that ad. And
yes, that's especially since 15% off Amazon is 15% off a lot of people's worlds, right? A lot of I do know people who get daily Amazon packages, like almost all the time. They're just streaming in almost as if they were by drone, even though that's not really too much of a thing yet. But I think you want to go back to something you touched on. You said that you're trying to get, faster than cards, right? So from let's just break this down. From my understanding from what you said, until the card confirms, your order on Amazon is not processed. Is that correct?
That's correct. The last time I would have been using Amazon with a credit card, which is a long time ago, I have to admit, about 2 years ago. Why would I use a credit card on Amazon?
Of course.
Then I would like if someone could let me know if they do use Amazon, if it's gotten faster, because I'd still like to have that. Maybe that would be a nice graphic or comparison maybe for the new website, just to know what is the speed of transactions on a card. For me, it was 2 days before. In the past, it was 2 days. It's confirmed in 2 days. Then you wait a little bit of time for the merchant who's selling the item to ship it. So there's 2 places there, 2 points that need to be confirmed. With the gift cards, automatically that order is confirmed when you shop with a gift card. So all you got to do then is wait for the merchant then to get that confirmation, which is instant, and then they ship it, which is within a few hours normally if they're any good. So that's the advantage. If anyone has feedback about at least once they apply the gift card to their account, have they noticed, is there a faster shipping time? Is there a faster turnaround time that at least between making the order and the order shipping? Within 24 hours as well. So that's a 24-hour from Bitcard, a 24-hour then with the shipping then with the gift card. That's really fast, actually. That is still really fast.
Yes, that might. I do know in the past I received some gift cards within 3 or so hours, and I think one time was 38 minutes. Obviously, a lot of people were complaining about the inconsistency of service, but I'd rather have a 24-hour to 1 week upper limit, and possibly I get pleasantly surprised and can move more quickly. But yeah, that's beside the point. I can imagine a video in the future being made of ready, set, go Amazon shopping between the credit card versus BitCart, race. And if it can beat that, that can be a very important step, because you think about it, if people can have a similar experience buying from Amazon with Dash, it's less of an annoying experience, or similar, that 15% might be enough to incentivize people to get Dash. And interestingly enough, there was a proposal not too long ago to integrate a cash buying option for Dash right into Dash wallets. So that might make it very you just download one app, get Dash, and then now you can save 15% on Amazon. And so you were mentioning a larger audience here, right? And I do notice you do have a proposal before the Dash Masternode Network to advertise to Amazon.com users about how they can save using BitCard. And right now it appears to be 591 yes votes, 59 no, 22 abstain, which means that unless something else dramatic happens in the next few days, it's going to pass. So possible congratulations.
I hope so, yeah, and thank you very much.
More about that proposal and what you're trying to do.
Yeah, basically we're taking this proposal to bring Dash and BitCard into the mainstream. It's a marketing and advertising proposal. We want to take this to places like Seattle, where Amazon are future-proofing their company. You mentioned drones and those type of technologies, decentralized supermarkets they're also doing, with the acquisition of Whole Foods for about $13.5 billion a number of months ago.
That's not a bad amount.
That's not a bad amount. No, it's not a bad amount. So clearly they have plans. That's I think that's like a $600 billion industry in the US. Food. So they have plans. We want to be basically at the forefront as they're going from an online business to a supermarket, decentralized supermarkets, drone delivery. We want to be sure that with any of these new things that Amazon come out with, we're able to market ourselves within the same audience, the same people that they're targeting towards, we want to target towards, the same technology they're going towards, we want to be able to support and to, acknowledge it, to advertise using it. Maybe they're, so far I'm thinking The proposal is all about getting the marketing strategy put together so we can look at this and strategize it. But intuitively, I'm thinking supermarkets where people go, they're currently already thinking about Amazon because they're at Whole Foods or they're at these other supermarkets, but in the Seattle area where they know decentralization is coming, where they know NFC payments is coming, where they know contactless, they can walk out of the store and pay for their items. We want to be able to advertise as people come out, or as they, you could have saved 15% when you shopped here. Maybe that's on a billboard across the street or something. We're kind of like trolling Amazon in an extent that we're just basically kind of tagging along. We're taking their customers with them. Like, that's essentially what we're doing. We're not obviously going against Amazon because we're supporting their business model by getting people to shop on Amazon as well. But we're just bringing people away from how they shop on Amazon. We're bringing people away from the credit card system, from the archaic, slow, 2 to 3 day confirmed, system of fees and everything. We're bringing this into no fees, and we say 15% off. That will attract a lot of people that are walking around the Seattle area.
That seems, that's the one thing that I'm sure a lot of people who have really investigated BigCart have started to think about is, how does it all work? And I'm sure that there's a lot of secret sauce behind the scenes that you're not in a position to reveal. But could you just comment on the long-term viability of the BigCart model? So, for example, say some people, let me just give the example of someone, for example, like me, that just say, we don't like banks. I don't like banks. I'm going to live all off of crypto, right? Live all off of Dash. You can, just on Amazon, you can buy on 90% of your things, including gas gift cards for your vehicle if you live in New Hampshire like I do, right? And if you can get Whole Foods, that means you can buy your groceries, your food. You can do everything with Dash at a 15% discount, which sounds amazing. Sounds too good to be true. Is it too good to be true? Is it going to dry up someday?
So you want to know how the sauce is made, Joel? That's a very saucy question.
Well, of course we all want to know how it's made, but whether or not that's able to be revealed at this point, just want to know if the sauce is going to be working forever.
The sauce is good. The sauce is using sustainable ingredients and all organic, of course.
Very nice wordplay you did there.
So, yeah, I mean, so it's very simple. In fact, it's very simple. This model has already been out for liquidating unwanted gift cards online. So you have a buy and a sell option. People can come, they can sell their unwanted gift cards. People can come and they can buy those unwanted gift cards. What's different about us compared to other companies like Purse, for example? Purse will take a very standoffish approach, and they'll say, you're someone who, they don't have a marketplace. They'll match people. You have gift cards, you want to buy gift cards. It's up to him if he wants to buy it off this guy and he has zero feedback. He's made no trades before. His gift code is clearly electronic. There's a lot of different things. I can't go into all of them, but there's a lot of different, let's say, pointers that can give a lot of insight to whether or not that user and who is attempting to sell the gift card, whether or not that user, that profile, that type of cards, you can actually validate it. So we find a way to validate that gift card to guarantee that that gift card isn't going to have any problems on the other person's account. That gift card isn't going to be reversed later. Purse do absolute terrible job at that. They completely stand back. It's between these two parties. If this guy wants to give a 10% discount, a 20% discount, a 2% discount, he has complete control. If he wants to scam this other user, he has complete control. And if anybody wants to intervene here, it's just Purse taking a middleman fee. And I don't see how they're protecting either party in this case. So I used to sell on Purse with the source of unwanted gift cards. I sold on Purse, and I just found that it wasn't a really good enough service, to be honest. That's where I had customers like Roger Ver. It was very early days. He was one of the big investors. They had a lot of money. They still do have a lot of money. They got off the ground very well as an early Bitcoin company. I have to really put it to them. Like, they were one of the first e-commerce websites out there. And I did use their service. It served me well for a month or two before I thought I could do it better. And that's different, right? Like, I hard forked Purse, right? That's it, really. That's what we're about, isn't it, in this community? They're trying to do things better and better and better.
Yes, it's interesting. It's a similar entrepreneurial type of attitude that is very unique to, or not unique, but it's very common, a very common strain in Dash. So, for example, in the early days, Dash's founder, Evan Duffield, noticed there were potential down the road privacy problems with Bitcoin, which, by the way, right now, these last couple of months have been manifesting themselves with trace transactions, etc. And he wanted to help Bitcoin become more private. And then he was not able to get the core team to listen to what he was doing. So he said, well, I'll just make something that works. And so he made Dash, and then every problem be the change you wish to see in the world, right? That's been everything with Dash. And I think it's interesting that that similar mindset ended up being a Dash exclusive business, right? Bitcart. That the same thing of, oh, this is great. Hey, if you just change this thing, no, you don't want to change it? All right, I'll do it myself.
Exactly. You know, and it really validated for me that I was on the right track when about a year into Bitcart, or a year and a half, I started getting orders from Roger at rogervera.com. And so he had moved from Purse, which he had given, I think in seed A funding, he gave like $250,000 or something. He went from the platform that he himself has a stake in, and he moved to Bitcart. So he, since about, for maybe it was last year, he became a customer, and that was really good just to show like, yeah, okay, I had this vision, now other people are beginning to see it as well. Since he went exclusive, I haven't seen Roger. So if he is watching, you can still participate using Dash. You know, you don't always have to use Bitcoin. And there was a very slow Bitcoin transaction in the past. You know, so like I do hope to get the likes of him back in the kind of Bitcoin community. I hope they do switch to Dash. I've had a lot of customers, to be fair. I would say most of my customers have moved, who were paying in Bitcoin before. They have moved over to Dash, so I'm happy about that as well. Again, it shows I'm making the right decisions, not just for myself, but for my community and for the people in the blockchain cryptocurrency community. So that's nice to always see is progressing and expanding.
Yeah, so of course there's not really such a thing as a right decision. There's only a decision with consequences, and if you like those consequences, for you it's the right decision. So I'm sure there have been some people, one consequence of that decision to go all Dash has been, I mean, I'm not sure if I could reliably make this claim, but it seems like the DDoS attacks have something to do, at least chronologically, with dropping Bitcoin. So that might have been part of that good decision, was a bad side effect, which then again could be a good side effect because it hastened good development. And
exactly,
you know, we could go in this circle of hypotheses forever.
It teaches. I've learned so much, I have to say. Like I'm a self-taught, I suppose, entrepreneur. Yeah, an ethical entrepreneur. Maybe I'm not just motivated by money or profit. Like I never thought I'd be in this space. Only when, you know, studying philosophy and trying to reinvent currency and thinking, oh, it should be possible, and finding it and thinking, okay, now things get fun. I can start recreating the world as I see it, how it should have been, or at least how I see it, as you say, not right or wrong, but just different versions of reality. That's what we live in. That's what we are. We're just different perspectives of perceptions of reality. What I would like where I would like to take Dash, and I do agree and accept that. I think there is a big entrepreneurial spirit in Dash. You see it really where it manifests is the Treasury. I mean, wow, like that was the first thing that really got my attention from Dash. But even just making my first proposal the other day, I mean, I'm watching that Treasury every day. In a couple of days, I'll be getting a masternode. So we've basically
personal one.
So that's the thing. It's like there's no reason for me to have a personal one. I could, but like that's fine. But I want to show other people kind of the vision that I see when I look at this when I look at this supernode and this masternode structure. I want to basically donate it to the community here in Cork. So my contribution that I want is for people to be able to live in a decentralized reality. Again, their vision of how reality could be parallel to the current system. And I mean that in the payments, in the political, in the governance, in the taxation, in the welfare, because I'm a little bit maybe beyond the crypto anarchism where I still crypto welfare. Like you could have a crypto welfare state. We're not changing the fact that people can just earn and not pay tax. That's not really moral or ethical at all, in my opinion. Argument done. Like, you know, we want to be helping homeless people. We want to have a system of care. We want to be able to have a better society for all. If there's, you know, it's very interesting looking at different ways to do that, like universal basic income. I think where a lot of this vision has come from, it's not me, it's genetic. You know, it's like in County Limerick back in 1919, they actually issued their own currency. And if you use this currency, you're basically supporting the boycott of British troops and British produce. So that's really, like, when I'm learning about this stuff, and I'll be writing about this again in the future, and looking at this for a while now, in this currency, these issued certificates. And it's very, they've figured it out. Once you say no to the British pound, that's when you hurt them. That's when you hurt them. Put your guns down and put your money away and start printing your own and issuing your own. And then once people support that, you're only supporting the local. It was a city, so a very small city, about 100,000 people, probably less back then. But 100,000 people issuing their own currency, completely replacing the Irish pound. It lasted about 4 years. And then after that, there was no need because we had our independence. We already had our first state by then, and we had our own system. And eventually we got our own pounds a little bit later. You know, we couldn't do it overnight, but we did do it a little bit later. These are now the tools that we have, which we can put in practice a lot faster, a lot easier, with a lot more, with consent of everybody. And I think that's kind of what I want to be looking and using Dash for, is that system where we can say, well, dollars, I mean, you're out fighting wars and you're supporting the oil. No, I don't want to have that. Oh, British pounds, again, you're supporting what, Brexit and the Queen and the monarchy and a backwards system that's completely old and not democratic. No, I don't want that. The euro, centralized systems of banking, and you know, you've completely screwed small nations and increased the deficit back when we couldn't afford it. No, I don't want that system either. Oh, Dash, the thing which self-funds anybody who asks for it and is democratically voted, and now we can put this in a little community. For me, it's a community masternode where we get the whole community to start using it, and that's when I really see the benefit of this system, where we begin to vote on our own little things. Let's use Dash to fix this. Let's use Dash to fix this. We don't even need to talk to the government anymore or lobby for this. Lobbying is dead. Lobbying is dead. Let's move towards liquid democracy instead of career-based democracy, and have liquid democracy living on the Dash masternode. That's what I'm going to be doing. So for September, look out for a proposal by Cork, the city of Cork.
Very fascinating how that works. And it's interesting. I'm sure a lot of people got into digital currency because of disagreements with either the current banking system or because or the systems that control the banking system. And being able to live off of that with Bitcard is for some people, I'm sure it's a practical thing. Other people, it might be like a protest vote. And so that's why it's always fascinating to see Bitcard become even more efficient over time. Well, thanks very much for the update on that. Of course, these subjects, we can always talk for hours and hours and hours, but we'll have to segment this into future things. So if you're watching this and you want to know more about this whole decentralized global governance and how Dash can be used, stay tuned, because there's going to be very many fascinating things in the future. Well, thanks again for your time, Graham, and I hope you have a great evening.
I hope to see you and everyone else in London as well next month. That should be a lot of fun. We should be bringing over as many people as we can here from Cork, because it's very easy to get flights, etc. So look out for us. We'll have a chat if you want to talk more about any updates about the Masternode or Festi or any other projects that we have down the line. Please get in contact. Check out bitcard.io, the new version. Let me know what you think. I want your feedback. It's very important to us. So that 4.1 and future updates will reflect what you want to see in Bitcard, because that's who we're serving. So yeah, Joel, amazing interview. Thanks very much. I really appreciate it. We went through the entire episode without talking about Conor McGregor. So.
Regrettably, we could always do that some other time. All right. Well, thank you.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Cheers.